Ugh, y'all keep me busy. Do y'all know that? I don't think anybody truly understands what my side of the device does. But anyway, Victoria, quick chat, shall we?
Smart buddy by saying this is where a program would come in. So hopefully I don't come off smart butt back. But it, is there a reason why there is like this group of people that believe that things like AA and the steps are the only way to have a true recovery journey?
Way to twist shit up. No, I don't think that's the case. With you, no matter what program you work, it requires honesty. Shock face. Any type, any kind of recovery would require honesty and accountability for your actions. Okay? That's not a 12-step thing. That's an across the board thing. Every addict thing.
It's insane to me. I've met several individuals that have been sober and clean and have amazing lives on this side of sobriety or on this side of addiction, and they didn't do AA or 12 steps, but they don't talk about it a lot because they get knocked down by people that did do the 12 steps.
I don't think that that's fair at all. People tell you that you won't stay clean without honesty. That doesn't mean it has to be 12 steps. I personally believe that you are constitutionally incapable of the level of honesty that it would take to maintain recovery. I'll bet those people are at least honest. I'll bet that they've taken accountability and made amends for their wrongs. It doesn't have to be a 12-step program. It's still things that we, as addicts in recovery, do daily.
Like even them being 10, 15 years on this side, can you believe that AA people like still try to discredit them?
So just be real. The people that talk about you and your recovery, they say honesty, not necessarily 12 steps. I don't practice a traditional program. There are parts of the 12 steps that I do use in my everyday life. Do I think that doing the 12 steps was important to my recovery journey? 100%. Why? Because I was able to get all of that stuff out, take accountability, make amends, right? Guilt and shame. Two of the things that drive addiction the most. So, because if I were you, I would have done it long ago.
I almost feel like it's worse than certain religious people. And I'm not like targeting one over the other, but for instance, I'm a Catholic and you ain't going to heaven if you ain't a Catholic type thing.
My God, do you have a comprehension issue too? Like, you can't be serious. People tell you that you're not going to stay clean without being honest, okay? But didn't you just say the other day that it was Ash Sunday? You're a Catholic and you don't know that it's Ash Wednesday?
I hope that all that makes sense. And if you stuck around this long, you should know, even though I'm not in a program like AA, I do have an amazing support system. I have a counselor. I have a therapist. I have a family therapist. I have family. My husband has been absolutely amazing in, making sure everything is going to be okay.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that, because if you did have a real support system, they would be telling you the same things that the people on the internet are telling you. Your husband, didn't he also enable your addiction while you were in active addiction? He did that, right? He let you risk your children's lives and other people's lives, driving them around with your eyes closed, right? You've been talking about relapse, Victoria, since I've been covering you, setting this up the whole fucking time. You think people don't realize that? You think people don't recognize that? You cannot take anybody telling you the truth, because I don't fucking shame you. I tell the truths that you can't admit to yourself for one reason or another, and you have a real fucking problem with that. A real problem. So you gaslight the people around you. Right? Didn't we just watch that with Mel's group? How you gaslit the fuck out of them? You can't, I don't even know that you're conscious of it, to be honest. But you can't take anybody being honest with you. And I don't know how many times I have to personally show that pattern, and you still don't see it. You still can't recognize it. That tells me one thing and one thing only.
I am not scared to talk about anything that's going on in my little brain and everything. I truly am blessed in that right now. So, yeah.
You could talk about as much as you want, but if you're not being honest, it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference. If you are lying to yourself, it is not going to make a difference to you. Because in the end, it will all wind up the same. Nothing changes if nothing changes, Victoria. Being honest and holding yourself accountable for your shitty actions on this fucking app for the last, 5 years would be a change. If you really wanted to make a change, you'd be addressing it instead of gaslighting your way through it.
I hope that if you don't have an amazing support system like me and you're going through anything similar, that, yeah, you do have some type of program that is being your support system. I don't know. I don't know how that works because I'm not in a program.
I really fucking hope that nobody is taking your road to recovery. It's dangerous. People looking at you and thinking, oh, I could be dishonest about this. I don't have to worry about this. Cutting corners in recovery is dangerous. And you're going to find out the hard way, but don't you fucking dare take anybody else on that fucking road with you.
I'm not scared I'm going to relapse, though. I've always had really, really bad anxiety about surgery and about being in pain and the recovery time and how all the things that I do on a daily basis are going to be taken care of.
What do you take care of on a daily basis? You still live in a biohazard. Your house is still fucking disgusting. So what do you take care of on a daily basis? If you had half a brain in your head, you would have been meal prepping to make sure that your kids were fed. But you don't give a shit, right? You're just expecting somebody to throw DoorDashes at you. Okay, Lori.
There's quite literally only one surgery that I didn't have at least some of those on. But I still had them a little bit.
This might blow your minds, Victoria, but a lot of addicts, they don't leave the hospital with pain meds, especially if that was your DOC, especially so early in recovery and not having a solid foundation, right? How come you didn't up your methadone dosage? I know, your clinic is probably the only clinic I've ever heard that would not accommodate for a surgery. Just so, I don't know if you know that, so I figured I would let you know that. Your clinic is the only clinic I have ever heard not give an increase for a surgery. So, there we go. You're just so fucking unique again, you know?
With all of these new changes in my life pretty recently, I have a lot of worries of how am I gonna do things? How am I gonna drive? How am I gonna cook? How am I gonna wash clothes?
The support system? What happened to the support system? Why haven't you been meal prepping for weeks, making sure that there were meals stacked in the freezer for this? You didn't have the time to make sure that everything that you could have taken care of prior was done. Support system, right? That's what the support system would be for, right?
But it's not relapse. I am scared of the pain. I am scared that I'm going to focus on, okay, I have this medication. I can take it every how many hours.
Addict behavior. Just so you know, that kind of thinking is addict behavior, Victoria. Not the way somebody in recovery would think. I've had many surgeries and done it without narcotics at all. Weird. That's strange. I'm just being real. I don't think you're in a headspace to do that. Most of us would find a way to make it without the narcotic, but you are not giving that option to yourself. So, pretty telling. And you can't get mad that people are feeling some kind of way about it and putting it in your comments, your filtered, excuse me, comment section because they're right. And you're just setting yourself up for failure.
I've always been told, like, especially with big surgeries, like this one's going to be, like, stay on top of your medicine at the very beginning. Like, make sure you take it on time, whether you're in pain or not.
Expectations. Nobody's ever told you about expectations in recovery. Mindset is everything, Victoria. You've been setting up for a relapse for the last 9 months that I've seen. So I would have tried to get a little bit of strength there, but you don't think that there's a problem. And that is a big part of your problem.
And yeah, I mean, if we're just being brutally honest, I only had one surgery, two surgeries. I had two surgeries while in addiction.
You know what? I bet didn't help the surgery or the procedure that you had done, and you didn't follow the orders, the follow-up instructions. I wonder how much of that plays into this. Strange, right? See, most addicts in recovery don't do what you're doing, Victoria. It's not a good sign, but nobody's telling you that. None of your support system is telling you that. Wonder why. It's almost like people know if they tell you the truth that you're just gonna fucking flip out.
I mean, the rest of said surgeries led up and eventually ended in my addiction.
Can you tell me what behaviors you don't have anymore that you had an active addiction? I won't hold my breath because you are still very much the same person. In order for us to recover, there needs to be a psychic change. I know that might be a little bit too intellectual for you, but you haven't gotten it yet. You haven't gotten it yet. So,
But I don't know. I'm just, and really, in those two surgeries that weren't like they were in addiction, I didn't even take the medicine that I was given. I took other things.
more addict behavior. I'm here to tell you, Victoria, the more excuses that you give yourself, the harder it's going to make it for you. You need to learn the term no matter what. Maybe that will help you a bit. I don't think so. I don't think that without being honest, you're going to get very far. And that sucks for you. It truly does really suck for you that you just can't see it. That you can't see you're worrying about all this other things when it's just as simple as being honest with yourself and the people around you so that they could help you appropriately. You're still lying, justifying, denying, gaslighting. That's still your life, very much so, currently, right now. And that's not doing you any good.
So I don't know. I'm just worried. I'm a mom, a stay-at-home mom that takes care of everything at home. That's worried on how I'm gonna do my daily duties. While trying to recover from a pretty significant surgery, of which I can't drive until I can slam on the brakes.
You shouldn't be worried about driving. You should worry about... Forget it. Just forget it. Now, because I've been on hiatus, busy with like real life things, I saw this clip and I'm just gonna address it because this is fucked up what you did.
I really and truly, I did not know that that was a thing in the recovery community. Now I know. So it doesn't matter what he said and what he didn't say. Because the only thing he was worried about is if I could pay him.
The audacity of you to say that when you know damn well that that man was just telling you the fucking truth. And because it didn't fit your version of recovery, you fucking say some shit like that about him? How dare you?
And does anybody have access to unlimited amount of financial resources nowadays? If so, do you want to help me out?
That's strange. Do you realize that you do this and then you always say, "Oh, I'm just kidding, just hoping that somebody sends you a DM. What do you need help with?" I'm going to show what that man said to you again. Okay? You should probably apologize because that's not what he said to you at all.
You could do, this is what you could do, this is what you could do. So I just didn't know all these things were available.
Smart recovery, celebrate recovery, which is if you're born again. Celebrate recovery is great. Somebody said celebrate recovery. Smart recovery is science-based. You can get a coach like me. Like I've worked several people. We walk them through. We do it right. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it, but cheap, easy, and free is like, is NA and AA. And
He was giving you different options. He didn't just want your money. He's a recovery coach. People get paid for stuff like that. That's not new information. But he very clearly said cheap, easy, and free, right? He just didn't tell you what you wanted to hear. I got news for you, Victoria. When I first got clean, there were a lot of people that told me things I was not ready to hear. I did not want to hear it, but guess where that got me?
you're going to have to weed through some meetings, but you will find them. And the answer is in there.
Thank you for the
especially for what you want, right?
Right. And that's
But
exactly
you got to get out of your own way a little bit.
Right.
And you know when you're hanging around not safe people and safe people. If you go in there and they're like, hey, we want you, then you need to call AA and NA and let them know because they will clean that up quickly. I'll tell you, I'm in Southern California. So all kinds of debauchery hangs out here. I don't think I've ever seen that
Okay.
at a meeting. Once, maybe, and then that person was surrounded and never came back.
He's telling you other options, ways that you can improve your recovery, right? But because it didn't fit what you wanted to hear, you were not validated with your excuses for why you refuse to do the simple basics that are a part of recovery. This is how you act.
Like I said, thank you for the resources. I really do appreciate that.
You're
That's
welcome.
just what I was saying. I feel like
you do. You need to clean up.
Right.
You need to clean up that stuff. And the feeling that you need to clean it up is not wrong. But the best way to do that is to do it through the steps because it's cheap. And honestly, you'll get a ton out of it and you'll be free from that.
He just gave you free advice, but you didn't like it. He was being honest with you, and you didn't like it, right? You shut down. When people are honest with you, you don't hear them. And I got news for you, Victoria. You could go to as many people as you try or want to go to. They're all going to tell you the same exact shit that comes out of my mouth because it's the truth. It's not my version of recovery. It is everybody's recovery. The sooner you realize that, the better off you might be.
But my feelings are valid in like I shouldn't try to do those things until I feel like I'm ready, right?
No.
Okay.
I think you should be doing the work. You're in huge danger if you're over a year and you haven't done any of the work.
I'm not
I'll be honest with you. You're in danger.
Yeah, I'm not over a year at all. I am working just slowly. The people that are around.
How much time do you have?
A little over 300 days.
Yeah, you have under a year. You're not doing the,
I'm under a year.
Yeah, you need to do the work. Yeah, if you're asking me to object, you're in huge danger if you don't do the work.
Awesome. Well, thank you so very much. You have a blessed day.
All right, you too.
It's got to really bother you, right? When people tell you the same thing that comes out of my mouth. That's got to bother you. He's right. And you just refuse to hear it. You refuse. I don't know why. Personality disorder, most likely. But he's telling you the truth. And all you got from that was, oh no, I'm not over a year. You don't like, in conversation, you don't listen. You're always thinking of a fucking response. It's gonna bite you in your ass, Victoria, because you are what I would call unteachable. You think you know all the answers, and baby, it ain't gonna work for you. It's just not. That's not just me saying it. And I don't know how many times you have to hear it before you say, holy shit, right? Don't you always say, these people should be helping people get to the other side? Bitch, that's what I do. But you're not listening. You're not listening. The messenger, Victoria, the things that I'm saying are truthful. And I don't know how many times you have to see people say it, read it in comment sections, and you don't fucking get it. And the only person that it's going to hurt is you. Because guess what? If you relapse, I still go about my life. It doesn't matter. And 15 years from now, you'll be saying, I should have fucking listened. That's not my problem. That's your problem. Your trajectory has nothing to do with me, just so you know. But you owe that man an apology. You sat on your platform and you fucking lied about him. He didn't have to let you up with your fucking misspelled word. I wouldn't have let you up. That's a fact. He didn't have to give you the time that he gave you, right? He didn't have to do that. He did it because it's what he does. And you fucking spit in his face when you took to your platform and fucking lied about him. Think about that. See a pattern there? You do that rather often for a woman in recovery, right? Anyway.